My name is Latanya Presley. I'm 29 years old. Until a week ago, I would have told you my life wasn't perfect, but close enough. The kind of close enough that makes you grateful. Steady routines, a warm home, and a husband I trusted so completely, it never crossed my mind to doubt him. I used to believe that if two people loved each other, the rest of the world could tilt and shake and it wouldn't matter. We'd still hold on. I was wrong. I've been married to my husband, let's call him Alex, for 2 years. Before this disaster, he was the kind of man who'd wake up early just to make me coffee before my shift. He'd kiss me on the forehead when he thought I was asleep. He laughed easily, hugged tightly, and listened like he genuinely cared. And because of all that, I thought marriage came naturally to us. I never imagined that trust could become the very thing someone would use to destroy you. What hurts the most isn't just the cheating, it's who he chose. To explain that, I need to tell you about Cassie. Cassie and I grew up together. If you asked our parents, they'd proudly claim we were practically sisters. Childhood photos of us are framed in both our living rooms. To everyone else, she was my lifelong friend. But to me, Cassie has always been a strange mixture of familiarity and unease. She was jealous even as a kid, throwing tantrums if I won an award, sulking when I got attention, copying my hobbies, but losing interest once she realized she wasn't good at them. She was never subtle either. If I got a new dress, she'd accuse me of showing off. If someone complimented me, she'd jump in with something sarcastic like, well, she had to try on 10 outfits to look like this. As adults, nothing changed. If anything, her envy sharpened. But because our families are so close, she stayed in my life like an unwanted shadow I could never fully shake off. At gatherings, she clung to me. At dinners, she'd force herself into conversations. And the older we got, the more her life seemed to unravel. A pattern of short-lived jobs, impulsive boyfriends, and constant drama she brought upon herself. Compared to her, I had stability, a career I worked hard for, a marriage I cherished, a home, one my grandmother gifted me before she passed. And I always sensed Cassie resented that. But I never, not even for a moment, imagined she'd resent me enough to go after my husband. The shift started months ago. Alex grew distant. Not alarmingly so, just muted. He'd sit on the couch scrolling mindlessly, claiming he was exhausted. He'd forget our inside jokes mid-laugh. His working late excuses became more frequent. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Everyone has phases where life just smothers you a bit. But there were moments, tiny, fleeting moments, when his eyes held something I couldn't name. A flicker of guilt, annoyance, pain? I didn't know. I buried the suspicion. Because when you love someone, doubting them feels like betrayal. A week ago, everything shattered. I was at work when my friend called. She casually asked if I wanted to meet up since she saw Alex at a restaurant near the plaza and assumed I was with him. That plaza is nearly an hour from my workplace. My stomach twisted. I asked her again, "Are you sure?" She was laughing, oblivious. "Yeah, he was sitting with someone. I figured it was you." But it wasn't me. I hung up and called Alex immediately. He answered on the second ring and said, calmly, confidently, "I'm at work." That was the moment something inside me cracked. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I left work early and drove straight to the restaurant, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My mind fought itself the entire drive. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe he's networking. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Don't jump to conclusions, Latanya. Don't be that wife. But the second I saw them through the window, all those excuses evaporated. Alex was leaning forward, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months. Cassie was touching his wrist, laughing softly, her face tilted toward his with familiarity. It wasn't innocent. It wasn't friendly. It was a date. My whole body went numb. I didn't storm inside. I didn't confront them. I lifted my phone with trembling hands and took a photo. Proof. Proof my mind wasn't making this nightmare up. Then I left, barely aware of how I walked back to the car. That night, Alex came home late and repeated his lie. Work ran long. His coworker later told me Alex called in sick. That's when the truth settled like glass shards under my skin. He was using my trust as a weapon. I couldn't look at him, couldn't breathe near him, and I couldn't face Cassie, my lifelong shadow, now fully unmasked. I spent the next days observing him quietly, pretending everything was fine, waiting for a sign this was all some misunderstanding. But each day only revealed more distance, more secrets, more moments when he slipped out with an excuse that made no sense. I broke down and called the one person I truly trusted, Molly, my best friend, my real friend. I told her everything. She came over immediately, hugged me, fed me water because I was shaking, and then, calmly, logically, suggested we gather evidence before confronting them. LaTanya, if they're planning something, we need to know what. Don't walk in blind. She followed him for 2 days. On the second day, she sent me a message that made my throat close. They're at a hotel. The affair wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was deliberate. Molly sat across from me and said the thing I couldn't bring myself to consider. What if they want more than each other? What if there's something else they're after? A chill ran through me. I agreed. I didn't want to, but I knew I had to. That night, we installed hidden cameras and audio recorders, my hands shaking, my heart pounding. I felt like I was peeling back the walls of my own life, looking for rot I wasn't ready to see. But I also knew the truth was already there, festering, whether I faced it or not. Now all I can do is wait. Pretend. Act like everything is normal while the devices capture what's really happening behind my back. And the worst part? I don't know what's coming. An affair would be devastating enough. But Molly's right. Cassie is too spiteful, too jealous, too calculated for this to be just about stealing my husband. Whatever they want, whatever they're planning, I'm about to find out. For a full week, I lived inside a performance, smiling when I felt dead inside, cooking dinner for a man I could barely look at, pretending not to hear my own heartbeat thundering every time he left the house. I had never realized how exhausting lying could be until I was forced to lie about my own pain. Alex acted normal, too normal, and that was somehow worse. He wasn't being extra affectionate nor extra distant. He simply existed, as if nothing had changed, as if he wasn't living a secret life behind my back. There were moments when he hummed in the kitchen or asked what I wanted for dinner, and I'd wonder how someone could be capable of such cruelty while sounding like the same man who once asked me to marry him. Finally, after 7 endless days of pretending, Molly came over. We sat in the living room with the curtains drawn, the glow of my laptop casting the only light. My hands hovered over the keyboard. I didn't want to press play, because once I did, there would be no going back. Her hand touched mine. LaTanya, we can do this together. So I clicked. The first video was nothing dramatic, just Alex pacing the living room while talking on the phone. His tone was familiar, but the softness, the warmth he used to have with me, was now for someone else. Yeah, she suspects nothing, he said. My entire body went cold. I wanted to hit pause, but Molly whispered, let it play. Next, an audio recording from the hallway picked up a conversation between Alex and Cassie. Their voices sounded too comfortable, too intimate. Like this wasn't new, like this betrayal was a daily ritual. Then came the part that burned the deepest. Cassie's voice. You know she doesn't appreciate what she has. She takes everything for granted. The job, the house, you. It's time you stop letting her hog all the good things. Alex laughed, and replied, I will. Once the house is in my name, we're done. I'm not staying married for her sake. My breath caught. My grandmother's house, the home she left me because she trusted I'd treasure it, was their target. I pressed a hand to my mouth as the truth crashed into me. He wasn't leaving me for Cassie. He wasn't cheating because he was bored. He was planning to take everything, rip the foundation of my life out from under me, and then walk away. My husband, the man I loved, the man I believed would grow old with me. Molly squeezed my arm. Keep going. The next recording was worse. Cassie, you're sure she'll sign it? LaTanya's too smart for this. Alex, she trusts me. That's her weakness. Don't worry. Once it's in my name, we can sell it and leave. She'll cry, but she'll get over it. I felt like I had been stabbed. I never realized trust could be weaponized so easily. Cassie giggled, actually giggled. She'll get over it? Alex, we're taking her house, her home, and her entire sense of stability. She'll be crushed. She paused, then added with a venomous little laugh. And honestly, I want to see her face when she loses everything. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Not the soft kind of breaking, the kind where sadness overwhelms you. No, this break was sharp, clean, like a glass pane shattering into 1,000 dangerous pieces. They wanted to destroy me, completely. They wanted to take what my grandmother entrusted to me, the one place in the world that felt like mine, and laugh while they did it. I didn't cry. I did not scream. I sat there, numb, listening to my husband and my so-called friend plan a future built on my suffering. Then Cassie said something that chilled me to my spine. If she signs it soon, we can move in next month. I can't wait to finally live in that house. That house. My grandmother's house. My home. The place where I still kept her old teacups in the cabinet because I couldn't bear to throw them out. My breath shook. Molly wrapped an arm around me as the audio ended. "LaTanya, they're monsters," she whispered. "No," I replied quietly. "They're opportunists. Monsters have motives. They just have greed." Silence hung between us. Then Molly looked at me with a spark I hadn't expected. "Do you want revenge?" I didn't answer immediately, because revenge is a heavy word, one you can't take back once you choose it. But then I thought of Cassie laughing about my heartbreak. I thought of Alex planning to steal my home. I thought of my grandmother, and how furious she would be if she knew what they were trying to do. "I don't want revenge," I finally said. "I want justice." Molly smirked. Justice can be creative. That night, we planned everything. Molly helped me prepare fake property transfer documents that looked almost identical to the real thing. No legal force, no notary stamps, nothing binding. Just paper designed to trick a man who was too blinded by greed to know the difference. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal. For days afterward, I had to sit through dinners with Alex, listening to him talk about work, while knowing he was planning to throw me out of my own home. I had to smile when he kissed my forehead goodnight, even though my skin crawled where his lips touched. Then, 4 weeks after the restaurant discovery, he finally made his move. It was a quiet evening. He walked into the living room holding a cup of tea, looking oddly nervous. "LaTanya, can we talk?" My heart thundered. "Of course," I said softly. He sat across from me, forced a smile, and began spinning the prettiest lie he'd ever told. Something about dreams of home ownership. Something about wanting to feel like the man of the house. Something about legacy and pride. All I heard was the subtext, "I want ownership so I can sell it without you stopping me." He asked me, gently, to sign the house over to him temporarily. If I hadn't known the truth, I might have believed him. He looked so sincere, so convincing, so heartbreakingly familiar. But now I could see the cracks, the glances he avoided, the rehearsed phrasing, the faint tremble in his hands. I pretended to hesitate, told him I needed to think, told him it was a big decision. He agreed, but relief flashed across his face. He thought the hardest part was over. The next day I told him the lie he needed to hear. "I trust you, Alex. We're going to be together forever. I'll sign." For the first time in months, I saw guilt flicker across his face, but he covered it quickly and kissed my forehead. "Thank you," he whispered. I wanted to recoil. He signed the fake documents that night, barely reading them, too eager to claim his house. The next morning, I made sure he left for work early, because I had one final step. I called my parents, his parents, and Cassie's parents, and told them I needed a private meeting. They showed up confused, worried. Then I laid everything on the table. The recordings, the videos, the confession, the affair, the betrayal, the plan to steal the house. Shock, anger, humiliation, rage. The room felt like a storm about to break. His father turned pale, trembling with fury. Cassie's mother sank into the couch, whispering, "No, no, not our daughter, not to LaTanya," my mother cried. My father cursed under his breath, something he almost never does. They wanted to confront them immediately, but I stopped them. No, let them think they've won. Let them walk into their own trap. Reluctantly, painfully, they agreed. And now I'm just waiting. Alex thinks he owns my house. Cassie thinks she's about to replace me. But they have no idea what's coming. It happened sooner than I expected. 2 days after Alex signed the fake documents, I woke up to the sound of a suitcase dragging across my front porch. At first I thought I was dreaming, but when I heard a familiar chirpy voice say, "Wow, the lighting in my new house is amazing," something inside me snapped awake. Cassie, of course. I walked downstairs slowly, forcing my heartbeat into a calm rhythm. When I opened the door, there she was, standing proudly with 2 suitcases, a duffel bag, and the most self-satisfied smile I'd ever seen on a human face. "Morning, LaTanya," she chirped. "Aren't you going to help me bring my things in?" I stared at her. "Your things?" She tossed her hair. "Obviously, I'm moving in." I blinked once, twice. "Why would you be doing that?" Cassie laughed like I was the slowest person alive. "LaTanya, sweetie, the house isn't yours anymore." There it was, the line she'd been waiting months to say. Before I could respond, she leaned close, too close, and whispered, "Alex will explain. He just didn't want to hurt your feelings." Almost on cue, Alex walked up the driveway with a grocery bag in his hands. The moment he saw Cassie standing there with her luggage, his eyes widened. Whether he was shocked she jumped the gun or terrified the reveal wasn't happening on his terms, I couldn't tell. "Cassie," he hissed under his breath, "why are you—" She cut him off loudly. "It's fine, babe. She already knows." I crossed my arms and waited. This was it, the moment they exposed themselves, believing they'd won. Alex sighed, dropped the bag on the counter inside, and walked toward me with a rehearsed expression of regret. "LaTanya, we need to talk." I raised an eyebrow. "So talk." He put on the saddest face he could muster. "I'm leaving you. Cassie and we're together now. It just happened." Cassie chimed in. "We fell in love. You'll move on eventually." I laughed. "I didn't mean to. It just burst out of me. So loud," Cassie jumped back. Alex stiffened. "What's funny?" "I know," I said simply. Silence fell. They exchanged nervous glances. I took a slow step closer, letting the calm in my voice do the work. "I know everything. The restaurant, the hotel, the plans to steal my home, all of it. You weren't discreet at all." Cassie's smug smile cracked instantly. Before either could react, I pulled out my phone and said, "Everyone can come in now." Within seconds, all 4 parents stepped into the hallway. My parents, his parents, and Cassie's parents, faces filled with disappointment, rage, and heartbreak. Cassie went pale. Alex staggered back as if punched. His father stepped forward first, trembling with fury. "You betray your wife of 2 years, with her lifelong friend, and you plan to steal her home?" Then, without warning, slap. A loud, echoing strike across Alex's cheek. Cassie flinched. Her mother approached next, eyes filled with tears. "Cassie, how could you? LaTanya was like a daughter to us." She raised her hand and slapped her too, not out of violence, but devastation. "You brought shame to this family." Cassie's voice cracked. "Mom, it's not—" Her father cut her off. "Enough." Alex, panicking, switched tones instantly, just like he always did when cornered. "LaTanya, listen, I can explain—" "No," I interrupted quietly. "You can't." He reached for me, and I pulled away. "I trusted you. I loved you, and you used that to try to rob me. You planned to take my grandmother's house, something priceless to me, and leave me with nothing." He swallowed hard. "I made a mistake." "You made hundreds," I snapped. This was just the grand finale. Cassie, desperate, stepped forward. "Look, the house is his now. You can't just—" That's when I dropped the bomb. "The house is still mine." Cassie blinked. "What?" Alex froze. "What do you mean? You signed—" "They were fake documents, always," I said evenly. "You signed paper with no legal force, no notary, no transfer, nothing." He went ghost white. Cassie's voice shook. "You tricked us?" "You mean the way you tried to trick me?" I shot back. "Congratulations. You both fell for it beautifully." Alex crumbled. "LaTanya, please, I'm sorry. I'll fix everything. Just don't—" "Stop," I said, raising a hand. "You weren't sorry when you planned to throw me out. You were only sorry when you got caught." Cassie, humiliated and trembling with anger, hissed, "You set us up!" "No," I corrected. "You set yourselves up. I just hit record." My father stepped in, voice stern. "Both of you need to leave. Now." Cassie grabbed her suitcase, tears streaming, tripping over her own feet. Alex begged one last time, pathetically, before my mother pulled me into her arms and told him, "Stay away from our daughter." And just like that, they were gone. The divorce was quick, simple, brutal. My state doesn't reward cheaters, so Alex walked away with nothing. Not money, not the house, not even sympathy. His parents cut him off permanently, disgusted with how low he had stooped. He tried contacting me for weeks, but I blocked every number. Eventually, he disappeared from my life like smoke. Cassie lost her job. Her uncle fired her the moment he heard the truth. Her parents told her they wouldn't help her again until she apologized to me. She never did. At first, I thought that was the end. I was wrong. A few months later, Molly called me with a story so absurd I thought she was joking. Guess who I just ran into at the mall? I didn't even need to guess. Cassie? Bingo. According to Molly, Cassie had walked right up to her with a fake, sweet smile, acting like nothing had ever happened. "She said she was lonely," Molly explained. "Said you poisoned everyone against her." I snorted. "She ruined herself." "Oh, trust me," Molly said. "I told her." Cassie, in true Cassie fashion, tried playing victim, claiming her parents cared more about outsiders than their own daughter. Then she said the most ridiculous thing. She told me LaTanya was jealous of her because Alex chose her. Molly burst out laughing, retelling it. And I told her, honey, nobody is jealous of being cheated on by a useless man. But Cassie wasn't done. Apparently, she tried inviting Molly out for drinks to reconnect. Translation: Cassie had lost everything else and was now trying to steal the only friend I had left. Molly looked her dead in the eyes and said, I'm loyal to LaTanya. I won't betray my friend for someone who survives off stabbing people in the back. Cassie's smile faltered. Then she tried one last pathetic intimidation tactic. You know, other women's boyfriends tend to like me. Molly didn't even blink. She leaned in and whispered, try anything in my life, and you'll find out how close my fist can get to your face. Cassie apparently fled on wobbly legs. When Molly told me everything, I couldn't help but smile for the first time in a long time, not because Cassie was miserable, but because I had proof that loyalty still existed. That friendship could be real, honest, and unbreakable. I may have lost a husband. I may have lost someone I once called a friend, but I kept something far more valuable. My home, my dignity, and a friend who would never betray me. And in the end, that's more than enough.